I went to a secondary school. It was called a federal government girls' school in a place called Shagamu. And that was like being in prison. When I tell the stories about using a machete and having, because there are no lawnmowers, that's the place that I'm talking about, having to fetch buckets of water. And that was the first time that I was away from home, away from my family. And I wasn't just looking
This is a boarding school?
Yes, it's a federal boarding school. And it was very...
You shared a dormitory with other girls?
We're about 150, I think. 20 to 30 in a room, and there were, 6 rooms.
And
so
the machete is for cutting the grass?
Yes, cutting the grass.
Explain why were you cutting the grass?
Well, because, who else is going to cut the grass? It's just, it's the
grass grows, you have machetes to cut it.
Exactly. They're not, this is a federal school where this is the old grammar school system sort of fading out, and everyone who passed an exam and got a certain score got to go to a federal school, and this was more socialism. So they sprinkled people around. They didn't want one school getting all the best results. They would mix people about. So you could end up getting sent thousands of miles away to a boarding school, at the extreme end of the country.
I'll be focusing on Kemi Badenoch, now known as Kemi Badenoch. Kemi Badenoch has always been at daggerhead with Nigeria ever since he attained the height of becoming the Tory party head. As we all know, Tory party, in other words, is called the Conservative Party in UK. And ever since the attainment of that height, he has always been lambasting Nigeria as a country, denying his citizenship as a Nigerian, and then denying his root in a way pleasing to her in the manner and way she deems fit. Now, of recent, she granted an interview, and then she, in that interview, painted a very sad story about Nigeria's infrastructure, its educational system, and in that interview, talk about how she and her colleague were meant to cut grass, and then instead of using an equipment that is supposed to be used for cutting grass, which is known out there. But of course, a lot of Nigerians have been coming after her. One of them is a particular woman that her name is Agoro. She stated exclusively that what she went through at that stage was a training process, part of education in Nigeria's curriculum, the stage where you are meant to undergo certain activities as part of your developmental process. Now, that what she called machete in that interview was simply a cutlass, which is given to every student back then. You are told or instructed to cut grass and to clean your environment, and also to cultivate farms and so on and so forth. And that the woman went ahead to advise her that, look, if you feel that in your days as a student, in a boarding house student in Shagamu, that she's not even aware of some of the allegations, but if you feel that, if she feels that, okay, they went through that kind of pain, then why don't she come to Nigeria, sanitize the environment, provide those infrastructure, so that those infrastructure will be named after her. Now, looking at that carefully, we also learn about various criticism that has accompanied this woman called Kemi Badenoch, and a lot of even British, the place she claims to be a new country, has been lambasting her, telling her that, okay, look, you are a Nigerian. Of course, Kemi Badenoch used to be called Kemi Badenoch, and then before she got married to a UK person. But today, she said it has been almost 20 years she renewed her Nigerian passport. So she refers herself as a Nigerian by ancestry, but she doesn't identify herself as a Nigerian. So now I want to go through some of the comments made by Mrs. Agoro, that woman that particular took a swap about Mrs. Kemi Badenoch on this matter of cutting grass, and then making her know that look, cutting grass is part of the educational curriculum in Nigeria, is part of raising children in Nigeria, and then this therefore it's of no big deal. In her statement, she wrote, "Dear Kemi Badenoch, correcting your machete and prison stories by Adeola Agoro." In that article, she pointed out various anomalies in her assertion. She said, "Madam, we both know the tool you are referring to is called a cutlass in Nigeria. That's exactly what it was called when you were growing up. That was what your teachers call it too. Yes, students were made to cut grass in school, not because we were in a jungle, but because it was part of the holistic training we received. It taught us responsibility, environmental hygiene, and sometimes served as discipline. I have watched many of your videos where you speak of Nigeria, not in bright colors, but often in shades of gray and black. That's fine. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. Thankfully, personal opinions do not alter the truth in the minds of those who truly know it. There's a Yoruba proverb that goes, whether we pound yam in a mortar and make soup in a calabash, those who will not be fooled wouldn't be fooled. And if we cook in a groundnut shell, the one destined to be satisfied will be satisfied. In other words, growth can happen right before someone's eyes, and they still might not see, especially if they have made up their mind not to. Still, after watching your most recent video, I felt compelled to respond in case you do be open to seeing from a different perspective. You said everyone had their own machete because that's how you cut grass in Africa. There were no lawn mowers. We had to tend our own patches. I still feel as if I have got the blisters. Madam Badenoch, we both know the tool you are referring to is called a cutlass in Nigeria, and that's exactly what it was called when you were growing up. That's what your teachers call it too. Now, going further, we cleared the land for school farms. We tilled the soil, planted yam and tomatoes and potatoes, and watched them grow. Harvest season gave us purpose. It taught us patience, effort, reward, and cycle of life. Our hostel has structure. Smaller ones had 6 girls per room. The larger domes housed about 40. We had box rooms for our suitcases and cabinets besides our beds. Boarding school taught us discipline, social skill, sharing, cooperation, and resilience. If you had chosen to see your own hostel in that light, perhaps your social views today might have been a bit more gracious. Let me just summarize what she penned here. He said, "Dear Mrs. Badenoch, you must understand, when you repeatedly paint your people in unflattering colors, that's exactly how the world will see you too. Rather than distance yourself from Nigeria, come home, come and see what has changed, contribute to what still needs change, use your influence and not just your words. And since you run a charity that collects thrift donations, please consider adding lawn mowers to the list. Many schools will appreciate it. Though, of course, students will still use cutlasses because agriculture is still part of our foundation, and we are proud of it. Sincerely, Adeola Agoro." Yes, that was a post from Mrs. Adeola Agoro, who experienced what Mrs. Badenoch also experienced, telling everyone that cares to know that, look, it's no big deal that here in Africa, as a student, especially in boarding house, you are allowed to come out to cut grasses using cutlass, and which she called machete. Now, I want you to hit me up in the comment section. What do you think needs to be done about Kemi Badenoch? She not going too far? Femi Fanikaude spoke at length about her, how she has going to disgrace Nigeria, and also Femi Falana too has also spoken much about her. What do we need to do about this lady to help her forget the pain of the past? Hit me up in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. This Trending Nigeria. I will see you in the next video. My name is Larry.